Stand on almost any street corner in London today, and within seconds, you'll hear a dozen different languages blending into one continuous stream of sound. English, of course, but also Arabic, Polish, Hindi, Yoruba, Mandarin, Spanish, Turkish, Bengali. Voices overlapping, conversations intersecting, people passing each other without stopping, yet somehow forming a living, breathing rhythm. Nearly 40% of the people who live here were born outside the United Kingdom, making London one of the most diverse cities on earth. It is not just a city anymore. It is a convergence point, a place where histories collide and reshape each other in real time. Food from every continent, music from every culture, traditions layered on top of traditions. It feels modern, global, connected. But this city, this massive, chaotic, endlessly evolving organism, was never supposed to exist. Rewind time, 2,000 years, and everything you see disappears. The glass towers vanish. The bridges collapse into nothing. The streets dissolve. The crowds fade. The noise stops. What remains is silence. A wide, slow-moving river cuts through open marshland. The ground is soft, unstable, soaked with water. At low tide, it turns into thick mud that traps anything that steps into it. At high tide, the river expands, swallowing the edges of the land. There are no roads, no buildings, no signs of permanence, just wind, water, and silence. The Thames flows through it all, indifferent, constant, ancient. There is no reason to build here, no strategic advantage, no natural protection. It is exposed, unpredictable, and hostile. And yet, this exact place will become one of the most important cities in human history. The year is 43 AD. 4 Roman legions arrive on the shores of Britain. Around 40,000 soldiers, organized, disciplined, engineered for conquest. Their armor reflects what little sunlight breaks through the clouds. Their formations move with precision. These are not explorers. They are agents of empire. Britain, to them, is not mysterious. It is an opportunity. A distant island on the edge of the known world, rich in resources, positioned perfectly for expansion. The Romans move inland, cutting through forests, crossing uneven terrain, adapting quickly to unfamiliar land. They are not guessing. Every movement is calculated. Every decision serves a larger system. They are searching for something specific, a crossing point, a place where the river can be controlled, because control of a crossing means control of movement, trade, and power. And then they find it. A narrow section of the Thames, just before it widens into an estuary, deep enough for ships, narrow enough to bridge, not obvious, not perfect, but enough. And in that moment, a decision is made that will shape the next 2,000 years. Within a decade, Londinium begins to take form. At first, it is temporary. Wooden structures, dirt paths, smoke rising from fires. But Rome builds with intention. Engineers measure, workers construct. A bridge rises across the Thames, exactly where London Bridge stands today. Around it, activity explodes. Ships arrive, carrying goods, amphorae filled with wine, olive oil, grain, merchants from Gaul, soldiers from Syria, traders from North Africa. Languages collide, cultures mix, money flows. Londinium becomes a hub, a network, a meeting point of the empire. It grows fast, too fast, and then something shifts. The rhythm breaks, because far beyond the city, something is already moving. Boudica, queen of the Iceni, has had enough. The Romans have humiliated her, stripped her of power, and she responds with fury. She gathers an army, tens of thousands strong, and they march on Londinium. The Romans make a decision. They abandon the city, and when Boudica arrives, there is nothing left to defend it. The destruction is total. Fire spreads through wooden structures. Streets become corridors of flame. Smoke chokes the air. Within hours, Londinium is erased, reduced to ash. Beneath modern London today, archaeologists have found that layer, a red-black scar in the ground, proof that the city once burned completely. But Rome returns. It always does. And this time, it rebuilds stronger. Stone replaces wood. Massive defensive walls rise. Streets are organized. Infrastructure expands. Londinium becomes a true Roman city. Amphitheaters, bathhouses, forums. At its peak, around 60,000 people live here. The largest city in Britain. This is no longer a frontier. This is Rome. But empires collapse. By 410 AD, Rome is breaking apart. Britain is too distant, too expensive to defend. The message arrives. You are on your own. The legions leave, and everything collapses. Trade stops. Currency loses value. Merchants leave. Officials leave. Skilled workers disappear. Within a generation, the city empties. From tens of thousands to almost nothing. The streets fall silent. Buildings decay. Roofs collapse inward. Walls fracture. Rain seeps through everything. Weeds push through mosaic floors that once displayed Roman wealth. Nature begins to reclaim the city, slowly, patiently, completely. Londinium does not fall in a single moment. It fades. For nearly 2 centuries, almost nothing happens. The city becomes a ruin, a memory, a place no one chooses to live. But the Thames keeps flowing. And rivers always bring people back. When new settlers arrive, they are Saxons, farmers, village builders. They think differently. They live differently. And when they see Londinium, they do not see opportunity. They see something impossible. Massive stone structures, towering walls, engineering beyond anything. They understand. One Saxon poet would later describe these ruins as the work of giants, not human, not natural, something ancient and unsettling, so they avoid it. Instead, they move just 1 mile west and begin again. A new settlement, Londonwich. No stone, no empire, just wood, earth, and survival. Simple houses, thatched roofs, open land. But slowly, life returns. Trade begins again. Goods flow in. Amber from the Baltic, wine jars from the Rhineland, metalwork from across Europe. The Thames reconnects everything. By the early 700s, Londonwich is thriving. Around 8,000 people live there. Markets form. Voices return. Children run through the streets. It feels stable, but it isn't, because the river brings more than life. It brings the Vikings. They arrive fast, silent, violent. They strike without warning, burn what they cannot take, and return again, and again, and again. Londonwich cannot defend itself. It collapses, repeatedly, until Alfred the Great changes everything. He abandons the exposed settlement and moves the population back inside the old Roman walls. He repairs them, strengthens them, rebuilds London as a fortress. This time, it holds, but power continues to shift. Saxons, Danes, kings rise and fall. In 1016, King Canute makes London his capital. Then Edward the Confessor, builds Westminster Abbey to the west, separating power from commerce forever. Then comes England fractures. Harold Godwinson becomes king. William of Normandy invades. They meet at Hastings. By nightfall, Harold is dead. William wins, and London falls with him. He builds the Tower of London. Massive, dominant, a symbol of control that will last 1,000 years. Medieval London grows rapidly, but it is cramped, chaotic, and dirty. Streets narrow, buildings lean inward, waste fills the ground. Guilds control trade. The city becomes powerful, but fragile. Then, in 1348, the plague arrives. It spreads silently, relentlessly. Within 2 years, nearly half the population is dead. Streets empty, bodies pile up. London nearly dies again. It recovers, slowly, and then, in 1666, a fire starts on Pudding Lane. Conditions are perfect. Timber buildings, packed tightly together, strong winds. For 4 days, London burns. Most of the city is destroyed. But this time, it rebuilds stronger. Brick and stone replace wood. Then comes empire. Wealth pours in from across the world. London expands. The Industrial Revolution transforms everything. Population explodes. It becomes the largest city on Earth. But inequality grows. Slums expand. Disease spreads. Then comes war. The Blitz. Bombs fall. Night after night. Entire neighborhoods destroyed. But London survives. Again. After the war, the city reinvents itself. Immigration reshapes its identity. Cultures merge. Languages multiply. London becomes global. Again. And through everything, one pattern remains. Destruction, rebuilding, adaptation, again and again. That is what makes London, London. So now, I want to ask you something. If you could step back in time and visit London at any point in its history, which version would you choose? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to see more cities brought back to life like this, make sure you subscribe, because this is just the beginning. We'll see you in the past.